Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, I continue bringing you the story of Tien and Jack. After the incident that year, there has always been an indescribable emptiness in Tien's heart. It was not only the sadness of a mother who had once touched happiness and then suddenly lost it, but also a silent wound that lingered over time. Back when she first found out she was pregnant, she was so happy that she couldn't sleep all night. She believed her life was about to turn to a new page, that their small home would soon be filled with a child's laughter, that there would be a little life for her and Jack to love and protect together. But life was not as gentle as she had hoped. That child could not stay. The loss came too quickly, leaving behind a quiet but persistent pain. Even long after, just thinking about it would make her eyes redden. Since that day, Tien and Jack never gave up hope. They tried so hard together. Tien quietly took care of her health, adjusted her lifestyle, and tried to keep her emotions stable. Jack stayed by her side, encouraging her little by little, never letting her feel alone on this journey. Each passing month carried a bit more hope. Each time they waited, their hearts trembled with anticipation for a miracle. But again and again, the results were not what they wished for. The greater the hope, the deeper the disappointment that followed. There were nights when Tien lay facing away, silent for a long time. Jack knew she was sad, knew she was hurting, but he never forced her to be strong. He simply sat beside her, holding her hand, letting her know that no matter what happened, he would always be there. After many months without good news, Jack decided to take Tien to the hospital for a more thorough checkup. He didn't want her to carry vague worries any longer. He believed that no matter the outcome, they should face the truth to understand what path lay ahead. At first, Tien hesitated. She was afraid of hearing unwanted news, afraid of being disappointed again. But faced with Jack's gentle determination, she nodded. The day they went to the hospital, the atmosphere in their hearts felt heavier than usual. Neither of them said it out loud, but both understood that this visit could determine many things about their future. Jack didn't let Tien go through it alone, he also registered for his own health check. To him, having a child was a shared responsibility, not something Tien should bear alone. His initiative moved her deeply and eased her heart. At least in the hardest times, she never had to face everything by herself. After completing the necessary tests, they sat waiting for the results, filled with anxiety. The doctor gently explained Tien's condition. The indicators showed that conceiving naturally would be very difficult for her. It wasn't entirely impossible, but the chances were very low, and continuing to wait naturally might take a long time without guaranteed results. The doctor looked at them sincerely and advised that if they truly wanted a child and wished to take control of their future, they should consider in vitro fertilization, IVF. Hearing those words, Tien fell silent. Even though she had mentally prepared herself, hearing it directly still made her heart sink. She lowered her head, her hands tightly clasped as if trying to stay calm. Jack saw everything. He didn't ask her right away, didn't rush into a decision. Instead, he gently placed his hand over hers, offering silent comfort. The doctor continued explaining the process clearly, the hopes, the challenges, and what they would need to prepare if they chose this path. Leaving the hospital, they returned home in prolonged silence. Not because there was nothing to say, but because there were too many thoughts weighing on their minds. Tien knew IVF was an opportunity, but she also understood it would not be an easy journey. She worried about her health, about the pressures ahead, and about how she would cope if it failed again. Jack understood all those fears. That's why in the days that followed, he never pressured her. He calmly told her there was no need to rush, that this decision required careful thought, and that whatever she chose, he would respect it. During those days, they talked a lot. Not just simple encouragement like before, but deep, honest conversations about their desires, fears, and future. Tutien admitted she was afraid she wasn't strong enough to go through hope and waiting again. Jack said he was afraid too, but even more afraid of seeing her carry regret forever. He didn't promise it would be easy, but he promised she wouldn't walk this path alone. In the end, after much consideration, they made a decision together to try one more time, this time with all their preparation and sincere hope. As they began the IVF journey, Tutien understood that this was no longer just about emotions, but about patience, resilience, and faith. Jack accompanied her through every appointment, every test, every moment of exhaustion and anxiety. He was always there, reminding her to eat properly, encouraging her to rest, and lifting her spirits whenever she felt down. He constantly reminded her that no matter the outcome, her health and peace of mind mattered most. Fortunately, the preparation process went smoothly. After completing the necessary steps, the embryos were successfully created and transferred into Tutien's body. That moment, though quiet within the hospital walls, carried immense meaning for both of them. It was the moment they truly felt that a door of hope had finally opened after months of waiting, pain, and relentless effort. After the embryo transfer, something changed in their hearts. There was still worry, still nervousness, but also a gentle anticipation they hadn't allowed themselves to feel in a long time. Tutien began imagining a future where their small home would be filled with a child's laughter. She imagined preparing tiny clothes, placing a cradle in the corner, and evenings spent together as a family. Jack couldn't hide the joy in his eyes either. Though he tried to remain calm to reassure her, his words and gaze revealed how much hope he placed on this chance. When Mother Loy learned about their decision and the successful progress, she was overwhelmed with emotion. She understood better than anyone what Tutien had gone through, especially the pain after losing her previous child. So when she heard the embryo transfer had gone well, her eyes filled with tears. To her, it wasn't just the hope of a grandchild, but the hope of seeing her children finally come closer to the happiness they deserved. From that day on, Mother Loy took even greater care of Tutien. She reminded her to rest, avoid heavy work, eat nutritious food, and keep her mind at ease. Tutien felt deeply touched and comforted. In that home, she received not only Jack's love but also genuine care from his mother. There were meals lovingly prepared by Mother Loy, who gently placed nourishing food into her bowl. There were moments of quiet concern, asking if she was tired, if she felt okay, if she was thinking too much. That care often made Tutien emotional, knowing she was surrounded by sincere love. The waiting days were the longest, yet also the most hopeful. Jack went to work, but his heart was always at home. Whenever he had time, he called to check if Tutien had eaten, if she felt tired, if she needed anything. In the evenings, he returned home earlier than usual just to be with her. Sometimes they simply sat in silence or shared small conversations, but that presence alone brought her immense peace. Jack's love for Tutien was not expressed through grand gestures, but through his constant companionship in the hardest moments. And Tutien's love was the same, quiet strength and a faith she continued to hold despite all the pain. Mother Loy, with all the love of a mother, also waited day by day, hoping for good news to finally make their small home complete. At this stage, Jack and Tutien's story is not just about searching for a child, but about love, patience, and an unyielding faith. After all the losses they have endured, they still choose to hold hands and move forward. They still believe that as long as they have love and continue trying together, hope will always remain ahead. And now, in the hearts of all three of them, a beautiful dream is slowly taking shape, a dream of a healthy baby, of laughter filling their home, and of a happiness finally rewarded after so many long days of waiting.
quay trở lại với kênh của mình nhé. Hôm nay thì mình tiếp tục đưa đến với mọi người video về câu chuyện của Tử Tiên và Jack như mọi người. Như mọi người cũng đã biết thì Tử Tiên và Jack ở cách đây khá là lâu, ở một video rất là lâu rồi. Từ trước kia thì mọi người cũng biết là Tử Tiên và Jack vốn đã từng có chung với nhau một em bé, nhưng mà do một tai nạn nên là Tử Tiên đã bị sảy mất em bé đó khi em bé đó đang ở trong bụng. Và cả hai cũng đã cố gắng rất là nhiều để có thể có thêm một em bé nữa, nhưng mà mọi thứ dường như đã trở nên vô ích. Và những lần đi khám sức khỏe gần đây thì bác sĩ khuyên cả hai là nên làm IVF, và cả hai đã quyết định là sẽ can thiệp để có thể có em bé. Vậy thì mọi chuyện tiếp tục sẽ ra sao? Liệu em bé có thuận lợi ra đời và Tử Tiên và Jack có sống trong một gia đình hạnh phúc với một người con hay không? Thì mời mọi người đón xem vào những tập tiếp theo ở trên kênh mình nhé. Tạm biệt mọi người, hẹn gặp lại mọi người ở những video sau.